Good morning, friends and fellow adventurers. Now, right off the bat, I know there was an update very recently that dealt with a bunch of textures and stuff, and I'd like to go and check those out. Corn plant is still growing. Aloe vera, are that ready? Too young. All right, and we're going to have to water that. It's getting low. So, it's funny. I'd only planned to go to about episode 50 with this game, just because I knew life was getting very busy for me. And I was going to have to start putting some series away. And I just kept going and not even realizing because I was enjoying where we're at with this. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to end on this episode. But what I want to do is kind of... Oh, I'm starving. That is not good. Have one of these. Right, I needed meals, didn't I? I do not have any meals. Right, and I was busy building stuff. Okay, we'll go inside and get some food. Yeah, I wanted to kind of spend this episode going through, I think, why I think this game is great and I think underrated, and what I've enjoyed about it. What my kind of some final thoughts as I've played through enough here. I've played through about, I think, a little over 17 hours or so, which has given me some sense of what the game contains and what it's about and all that. So. Now those are seeds and those aren't looking great. It's very dry here. Oh my gosh. Let's get some more water. So right off the bat, it's interesting. It was a game that I wouldn't have hit my radar except the developer had kind of tipped me off about it. And it's amazing to me how many games appear on Steam. I think by, it's independent developers or solo developers, small teams that just pass below. Like we live in an era of too many games. How many things just kind of zip right past us and we don't even notice? And it's really unfortunate because there's so many fantastic games being produced now that we either don't have enough time to get to all of them, or it's just simply too many. We just can't deal with it all. I feel like this game has slipped through in that space. Oh, I'm exhausted now. Okay, we need to get inside. Is that doing anything? I don't know that it is. Feels like it might be. Yeah, it's doing a little something, but we still need more food. Okay, let's go over and see what we can do here. Can I make anything at this point? Let's see. Meals. What do we have? I'm short on carrots. Short on eggs. And snacks. Do we have any of the stuff? No, I'm short on everything. Do I have a potion that will just make me full? That would be good. The fullness potion. Yeah, I can see it's raising my energy bar. Just like ever. Okay, there we go. That's enough. Yeah, we'll keep finishing up here. Yeah, I feel like this game it's an interesting one. Like it right off the bat, you go, okay, this isn't a clone. This isn't like a Stardew-like. It's not trying to be another game. It's got its own ideas. It's got its own character and personality. And I really like what it's trying to do. There's a lot of interesting things happening in here. And I think we live in an era where we have so many games to choose from that we almost overlook some of these games. It's just we have too much choice. It's just so easy for us to go, I'm going to deal with this game or that game. Now, I know the textures have been, on some of the trees, have been adjusted. I don't know which ones. They look good. I think there's some scaling issues. I did notice a few blurriness in some of, yeah, I think that is looking better. That does look really good. But I think there's so many resources out there now for independent developers that it's really... it's not easy to make a game. That's not it at all, but it's easier to make a game. And it's more accessible. There's a lot more possibilities. So what we see is like just an absolute, a absurd number of games available to us to choose from. And so for those of us who, like playing a variety of things, it's an amazing time period, which makes it really difficult, I think. So a lot of good games slip right past us. Either because it's just simply too many, or we don't have time. I mean, who has the time to play even a fraction of what's available? I also noticed that we don't tend to see a lot of good a lot of review sites don't focus on as many indie games as they used to. Like I used to enjoy reading like Rock Paper Shotgun. They would review some smaller stuff, and that's not the case anymore. I know the main writer there who dealt with indie stuff, John, has his own website where he reviews things, Buried Treasure. And other than that, there's not a lot of venues for some of these things. And it's really unfortunate because, I don't know, it's not seen as a viable enough market, I guess. So it's this catch-22. The gaming sites focus on the bigger games because that'll get them the clicks. But then that comes at the cost of kind of hurting the whole hobby in a way because it devalues all of these other amazing games. So anyway, this is one of these games where I feel like it should get a lot more love than it has. I think because the tools are easier and more accessible, it's a combination of, there's a lot of games that, are getting made. There's too many. And then it's that because there's so many resources, we have this interesting spread between games that look like AAA games and then games that are look more like smaller independent games. And like this game cobbles together a lot of interesting resources to create its own look. And I think it does a good job of it. I think it's a nice looking game. It'd be really hard to make a game with pulling all these things together and trying to generate its own, unique art style and stuff. And I think it succeeds on that front. I think it has a unique aesthetic. I don't think it doesn't look like any other game, which is kind of cool. I don't see that as I think for some people it might be, that might be seen as it doesn't look as polished or doesn't look as like Nintendo-y as they would like. But to me, I don't know. I guess I've been playing games for too long, and I don't look at it in those terms. I just think, okay, how's the gameplay? And that's where I think this game does some interesting things. The idea of, I don't know about the story, whether or not it matters to me, but I like the way the sense of community is in here. And the way, the idea of you're kind of I'm guessing kind of an ethical or moral conscience and an awareness of your surroundings and awareness of your ties to nature and stuff. There seems to be a conscientiousness about the game. I think that's really cool. I really like that it attempts to do that. So your relationship with nature seems pretty pivotal. The idea that we don't want to over-harvest on things. We don't want to, abuse nature, and we don't want to extract too much out of nature. That's an interesting lesson. So it's attempting to be, I think, a little less fixated on, being the latest, greatest game, and actually having a bit of a message and a bit of an idea behind it, which I think is really cool. I respect that a lot. So I don't know if that's for everybody, but that does it for me. I think that's the kind of thing I like to see in games now. I'm very... There's some games I'm willing to overlook certain things. Over the past, years, I've played lots of games where there's things that bother me about the games. But if their core message is, I think, I think it's trying to do something interesting or important, I think that's worth supporting those developers to kind of push those games farther. And to see, I support the developers so that they can do more in the future. Because, if we support these games, this developer gets to go on and make more games. And I'm really interested to see where this developer is going to go. I think there's a lot of cool things being done here. So I think that's kind of my my potted summary of the game. I've really enjoyed exploring this world. I think it's a really it's a huge world. It's a very lush world. The idea that we've got all these different crops available in different areas, it does some stuff with the farming systems that I think is really interesting. It's as I've said in previous episodes, it's a combination of very detailed, but not so detailed that it's completely how some RPGs can get, I don't know, in my mind, a little too one-to-one, reality is so embedded in them. And it can get excessive. It can get to me a little bit it's just too much. There's, it stops being a game and starts being a 100% kind of what's the word, simulation of reality. And I don't know if that someone's looking for that, cool, but that's not what I'm looking for usually when I'm playing a game. I like something that takes the ideas and simplifies them in a way that makes it gameable and interesting. I play a lot of board games, and I enjoy people that reduce down experience to conceptual frameworks, and then they make it more accessible. And you can tell stories still within those frameworks, which is what I think is interesting when someone succeeds doing that. And I think that's happened here. I think this game could be more complicated, and I'm glad it isn't. I think it's perfect. I could see some developers having gone totally over the top with some of the ideas here, because this game leans in that direction, but doesn't go fully into it, which I think is really great. So for me, it's, okay, it does not flower this season. This lushness, this whole vibrancy that nature has is really cool. I wish more games were actually more like this in many ways. I think the more support these games get, the more these developers can explore out these ideas even farther. Because I can't imagine, this isn't an only game. This developer, I'm sure, will make more things, and hopefully the success of these things pushes them along to be able to do that. Yeah, everything's looking really great. So I think this was kind of defined as going to be one of the last big updates. And then there's some smaller ideas I think he had to work on tying up some narratives and things. But I think, it's hard to justify the amount of time you put into these games. I can't even fathom how much time this took. So my suspicion is it might be a bit of time before any of that stuff happens. But I think there's still so much here that there's plenty to play. I think I really liked my time here. I like that it's made me... It wasn't straightforward to me what I would have to do and how I would go about doing it or what the focus would be. And I always enjoy that part of new games, is getting to know what do I need to fixate on? What is my main objective here? Hey Jonas. Hey kitty cat. So I think I've gotten a feel for it. That's the one thing I was hoping to do over the course of, like I said, I was hoping to do about 50 episodes. And I just can't do a full playthrough. I don't have the time at the moment. I've actually trying to shut down a variety of series that I've been doing. This year has been a great year for me, having a lot of free time, as many of us do. So I've been able to do a lot of Let's Plays this year. But as life is returning gradually, it's aiming towards normal. Means I'm going to be having a lot less time, which means I'm probably going to be trimming back on some of the stuff I'm doing. So if I do series, I want to try to focus on more indie games like this, but I'm going to have somewhat less time to do so. So it means I'll probably do shorter series. So I won't do epic, the idea of doing another 500 episodes in this is I couldn't do that right now. So, that's too tough. So we'll, yeah. Yeah, I don't know what the deal is with this. I don't know if we get to fix it eventually or what this scoop is going to be. There's a lot, though. I do feel like I've only scratched the surface in this game. And there's part of me that would love to just continue on and go through the whole game. But I do know there is a lot to explore still. I feel like the mines and things like that. Like I definitely need to wrap up more questing with with different people, and that'll open up more things. So the interconnection between me and the villagers is really just getting rolling. So I think the game is, I'm just getting a gallop going at this point. And I'm quite a number of hours in, so it's exciting to see what will be coming up after this. Yeah, there's a few things like the you can see the mesh on the alpha channel on that character is a bit transparent. So there's the odd little thing, but I think this game has less bugs than some AAA games. So I haven't had any showstoppers. I think it took me a little while to, like I said, understand exactly what the game's focus was going to be and where it was going. But now that I've have a better grasp of that, it's fantastic. Okay, we'll walk over this way. So once again, I encourage anybody who's watched the series and has been kind of curious about the game or thought, hey, let's, how is this? I definitely say it's worth giving a try. I think it's intriguing what it's trying to do, and I like the story and stuff. And I think it, again, even the developer is German, so it's not an English as a primary language game. And I think that the developer's done a great job, trying to communicate and translate all the parts of the game and making it very accessible, and it comes off very well. So, yeah, I think more people should be getting to this one, and I'll continue to be telling people to make sure they get on it. And I wish the developer a lot of luck, because I look forward to seeing whatever things they try to come up with next, because there's clearly a solid worldview here. There's some solid ideas. And there is a coherency to it, which for a game this big with this many big ideas, it's impressive. And I really hope that they get more chance to hit at these kinds of things and get a bigger audience for it. I hope this game just continues to grow at this point. At any rate, we will see you all next time. Till then, bye-bye.